Tēnā tātou, ko Kristen Te Moananui tōku ingoa. I am the Māori Systems Innovator in Healthy Families Waitākere, and I'm the oldest.
Tēnā tātou katoa, ko Hinemoana Te Moananui Collier tōku ingoa, and I am the Systems Innovator for Healthy Families Te Ngira in Hauraki. Ko te puti puti o te whānau, ko te mea o wainga. I'm the middle child.
Ne. Ko te tuatoru, ko Rereahu Collier tōku ingoa. I am the Senior Strategist kaupapa Māori for Healthy Families South Auckland in the Auckland Council side. But we're the three oldest siblings out of Mum's whānau.
I think for me, as a Māori systems innovator, it's probably trying to think of initiatives that utilise our Mātauranga, because my mahi has systems return, so using our Mātauranga to benefit our hapori to address haura. So for me, it's that, like, with West Auckland, a lot of our community is quite urbanised, not a lot just from previous, lived experience working in my past mahi. I saw that there was a lot of disconnect. So, like, for me, it's like reconnecting our hapori with Whakapapa, our atua, like all those momo kōrero. So, yeah, for me, that brings me joy.
I love working in my own rohe, serving my own people. Yeah, collaborating in the hopes that those who I work with, we can make positive changes. Yeah, I also love being able to, like, when we sit together, being able to share kōrero amongst ourselves in terms of how we can tautoko each other in our own spaces, whether that looks like room for collaboration. Yeah, that's probably one of my biggest rewards, is working in my own rohe and the team that I work with, because they're pretty cool.
I won't deny that one of the biggest joys I've had is being able to work with my siblings, in the sense that, like, it gives me an opportunity to really support my tuahine. And, you know, following on the saying, mā te tuakana ka tōtika te teina, mā te teina ka tōtika te tuakana, and we really embody that in the way that we work. Like, it gives me a chance to really apply the different way that I may think to the way that my sisters may think. But I think looking into our team and the mahi that we do, one of the biggest joys that I feel is being able to see a change in the narratives that we are shaping within our community. And for me particularly, just acknowledging South Auckland, being, you know, the tūranga waiwai in which we grew up for the majority of our lives, and, you know, acknowledging the many narratives that come within the space over there. One thing that I always wanted, it's a life goal of mine, is to be able to change the narrative and unlock pathways for rangatahi to pursue, and for us to be examples of what a different pathway could be for rangatahi in South Auckland. So times that bring me the most joy in our mahi are times where I can feel that that's actually happening. Whether it's directly related to rangatahi or related to any of our whānau who are shifting the narrative of South Auckland. I think it's a really beautiful thing to be able to see that.
Yeah, touching base on the uniqueness of our each rohe too, like Hauraki being a part of our collective, which is, our reach is so massive. That's pretty special as well, pretty unique.
I finally get to talk. You know, I think there's a misconception that I'm the noisiest one in our whānau way. And I don't think it's that I'm the noisiest. I think I'm the most articulate with my words. Yeah. But no, I actually think that there are some really good wānanga that come from our whānau. And this is something that I'll 100% love about when the three of us work together, Ray, is that out of out of the three main qualities that Mum has is the artistic, the sports, and the academic side of her. And between the three of us, we share two of those three qualities, So genuinely believe that we're really good at two of them, but we're the absolute worst at the third one, and we kind of bounce between the three of them. So when you do see spaces where at least two of the three of us are together, it often fills the gap of the one that either of us would be lacking, and really shines the one that we're both good at together. For example, every second year we have a creative Christmas, and out of the three qualities of mine, the creative side is the absolute worst for me. And so I used to always jump on the coattails of my sisters because they were both creative ones in our whānau. And, I guess I really lucked out on those sorts of spaces. But when it comes to, the sports and academics, those are spaces where we support each other as well. I won't tell you who's good at who and who's bad at which, but yeah, I think at the core of it, each of us holds two of those three qualities. So when you see us working together, you see the beauties of all three of those things shine. And again, it's a testament to the many unique qualities that we have as a whānau and the qualities that we've drawn from our mum.
I guess we work in our strengths. So I try and challenge myself to work in other areas to hopefully develop myself, but I find I naturally gravitate or naturally work in sports movement areas, te ao Māori. I do believe so. Rereahu's the same, and knowing that Rereahu's being the māngai of our whānau, if ever we need support in hauraki, I know I can call on Rereahu in that space. There has been times I've gone up to Waitākere and met with Kristen in her mahi space and seen how she could support me in hauraki. I think so.
Also, just that support, supporting each other, with the mahi, but there's times where we might be stuck in our initiative, just not really sure on what the next steps is, and so being able to wānanga between each other, and that advice on where to go next is something we do quite often, which I really appreciate. So yeah. I think for me, being someone who constantly overthinks, who is the more, I don't want to say,
Stubborn.
Not stubborn. Probably the more shy one out of us three. I really love their confidence, and even when they're not that confident, they're able to fake it. So they're able to go into that space and just own it. Confidence is huge. That's something I always admire about them in any space, but especially in the mahi space. Even though Hinemoana has touched on her delivery, there's times where you need that delivery. So that's something I admire too, is being able to hit hard, and especially with systems change. So confidence and delivery for me.
One thing that I always admire about my sisters, is that their ability to think outside the box in particular areas. And I think about creativity in the sense. And I think that's something that I always call on to for support with my siblings. There have been times where Hinemoana's supported me in a change of applied thinking within our Mātauranga Māori space for mahi. And has actually supported the design of some of the mahi as well. So it's been really good to bounce off of her expertise, being, I guess, the mātāmua of our whānau and healthy families. So it's been nice. And I think, in the times that I've spent with Kristen, she really does bring the aroha elements into our mahi. remind us that it's not always about driving outcomes and outputs. It's actually to empathize with the people that we're serving. So it's actually quite beautiful to be able to see that, the times where I do lean on to my sisters is that it really changes me out of my process-driven way of thinking, because I think I thrive a little bit better when there is a certain element of structure. I wouldn't say complete structure, but to be able to look for guidance in the aroha aspect of both of my sisters. I think it's quite cool. And it's something that you see along the spaces within our whānau, within our whare, within our marae. While I might be the voice of our whānau, I can always rely that the manaakitanga aspect shines true and true with my sisters behind the scenes. So ki te pai a mua ka pai a muri, ki te pai a muri ka pai a mua. Yeah, and I think the dynamic that our siblings have always, it's a dream team. It's a dream team. It's easy.
Oh, I can feel you shivering. It's putting me off. I think I touched base on it a little bit before. What I admire about my sister is she is a reflection of our māmā, has a heart of gold. Manaakitanga shines through her in her delivery and in her mahi. Although she does overthink, she is a critical thinker. And it's all the nitpicky little things that sis can spot out. She knows when to apply herself. She's not as forceful as the likes of me and my brother, so I love that about sis. Rereahu, his delivery and himself speaks. But Rereahu he's a leader, and that's what I do admire about Rereahu. And him being the youngest of us three, it's very rare to see a leader being from the Pōtiki. Is very innovative in his thinking and his delivery as well. And he's all right. No, that's what I admire about my siblings. And I love that I can access them whenever I can, and they are always quick to show up. Or they do show up. They do come through.
Yeah, that's the thing about our whānau. As soon as you put the message out, it's like they're there straight away, so we're pretty close. Both my siblings are on the board for the marae that we're in at the moment, and we're currently in the process of establishing it. We've reopened it within the past 4 years. At the moment it's just the whare nui, and we've got plans to establish the other buildings, so that's something huge for us. Would love it to be finished before koro passes, but don't know if that's gonna happen. Hopefully it does. But so definitely the whare. For me, I would love if one of my initiatives ends up scaling to South Auckland and Hauraki. South Auckland where I grew up, and then Hauraki where I'm from. So definitely our whare, I reckon. But just our whānau, inspiring our cousins, hopefully. That's a big one at the moment. So
the build of our marae, what Kristen neglects to leave out too, is part of the whenua behind us is actually her. So maybe the opportunity to build a pā for our whānau, to set something sustainable for our whānau in terms of housing. And because Rereahu and I talk about this all the time, is trying to set up something so that we can have confidence in our whānau in terms of looking after themselves, really, because times it's getting rough, we just want to make sure we can provide something safe, something sustainable for our whānau. Really.
Ko tētahi wawata nui mōku, ko te whakarauratanga o te reo Māori. He kai hoe katoa mātou, mātou ko oku tuahine ki te reo Māori me te whakarauratanga o te reo meona tikanga. Ko tētahi moe anui mōku. He whakarite kaupapa, he whakarite rātonga, he whakarite whiako mō mātou whānau. Moe hoki mō mātou hapu, mō mātou iwi. Kia noho mātāmua mātou ko oku tuahine. Hei paupau, hei kai ārahi, hei ringa raupā ki roto i nei mea te whakapakari te ao Māori roto i a mātou ki hauraki nei. Koina pēr tētahi wawata nui mōku he hoki mai ki te kāinga kia whakapuare i ngā tatau o te ao Māori ki roto ki a mātou anō hoki ki hauraki nei. Nō reira, mena rā he wā e ahei ai mātou, te hoki mai ki roto o hauraki, te whakawhanake i ngā ahuatanga o te ao Māori, kia ngā kau whakapuke ai, kia whanake whakamua ai ngā ahuatanga o te reo Māori. Koina pēr tētahi mea nui māku.
It taught me how privileged we actually were. Although we did see some hardship growing up, we were actually quite fortunate that Mum took us out of small town living, made sure to prioritise education, made sure to have us in sport, made sure to ensure that she knew where we were going, where we were staying, so that nothing happened to us. So we were very safe. So yeah, I was quite grateful, because that wasn't the experience for a lot of the whānau that I worked with. So yeah, for me it was recognizing our privilege, and just being grateful for what we had growing up. Yeah.
Because South Auckland is full of honest people, is that you have to come in prepared. I think that's a lesson that a lot of people can be quite ignorant to, I guess, is assuming that you can come into a space and change it to fit the spaces that you want it to look like. But unless the community are supportive of your kaupapa, it'll never survive. And so one of the things that I've learned to realise in amongst our communities of South Auckland, and I guess I'm really lucky to engage with mana whenua groups as well, is that to bring your authentic self into the space, is not to prepare yourself with an agenda, and to build and firm the relationship first. I think it enables us to be able to create the changes that we actually want. Yeah, I've had instances where even mana whenua groups will acknowledge me as a Māori, but will be very hesitant to work with me because I'm also holding a council role. So it's on one side you're the person that we want to work with, and on the other side you're the person that we hate to work with. And so it's it's a reminder for us to be authentic. I think that's a big lesson that I've taken away from working alongside our communities, and just to show up. The ability to be a present face has enabled me in the work that I've done over the last 2 years as the Rautaki Māori. And so just continuing to hold the relationship, continuing to firm that up, and always being your authentic self as you come through the space.
Tētahi mea ki ahau ki hauraki nei, he mate hiakai mō tō tātou nei ao Māori ki konei. And he hia, ko te hihia o etahi o a mātou whānau, te hoki atu ki o rātou marae, ki o rātou pākainga. And so if I can support them through my mahi, then absolutely, better yet if we can support in a way where we are improving health outcomes alongside with that, then yeah, better yet. But otherwise, that's what I've identified, is that our whānau do want to be healthy. We just are lacking access or the resources to be that. Engari ko te mea nui, he mate hiakai ki tēnei o tō tātou ao Māori.
I think back to the first initiative that I inherited when I first joined Healthy Families South Auckland, Kia ora te whānau hubs, trying to reimagine what Māori health and wellbeing looks like when council assets are being utilised. Like I often reflect back on the mahi that we'd done in that. One, because it's working in the libraries, and I have a background working for libraries, so it was a bit of a circle moment for me to come back to the place that I had started, but also to be able to return with a new set of tools to be able to level up the services that they have in libraries. So in terms of legacy for me and being able to embed that, I think it was good for me to return back to the place that I had started, and to share the newfound wisdom that I'd gathered over the years. One of the big things that came out of that is just acknowledging the fact that council has a big superpower to be able to instigate true whānau Māori wellbeing. And it's a matter of shifting some of the mentalities that sit in that space. Just thinking about the 6 conditions of systems change, it's knowing which places are the right places to leverage to be able to draw that. And yeah, I think for me, one of the things that really shows the ability to make that change is for people to be exposed to the way that we think from a holistic approach. Looking at well-being models like Messenjuri's Te Whare Tapa Whā and Rangi Marie, Rose Perez, Te Whike model. Some of those spaces really paved the way for us to be able to explore what Māori hauora looks like, and it's an easy way for spaces that aren't so strong in te ao Māori to be able to connect with and understand what that looks like and what needs to be considered. So for us, it's to be able to elevate those spaces and to be able to highlight them in places that might not be so familiar with the way that we think. So yeah, I think that's something that I would like to leave a lasting imprint into the spaces that I sit in, is to allow the doors of te ao Māori to be able to come through and be acknowledged at least.
If I can have an influence on one person, that's enough for me. Because there's positive change in one person, and no doubt it'll filter on to the next. But all the mahi that our team has delivered, has initiated, poho kereru ana ki ngā mahi kua whakaputakaha. Very proud of our team as the new kids on the block in the Healthy Families whānau, for the mahi that we have done already.
For my mahi, they're still very much in the early stages of the initiative, so it's still collecting insights, establishing those strategic partnerships.
Don't ever think it.
Yeah, it's too late.
Contract rollover.
Oh yeah. Yes, please. Security.
I've got 3 actually, 3 that come to mind. To go back to who our original innovator is, Maui, so there's the kōrero he uri nā Maui. As a reminder for us as innovators is that while we may look at Maui as the disruptor, as the nanakia, as the troublemaker, a lot of the things that he did was actually to reshape the way that we perceive the world. And if there was someone that we would look to as an example for systems change or innovation, it would be Maui. So I believe, that's one corridor that would actually really shine through, particularly for our Māori innovators who are curious to come into the space. There's another corridor that popped up that I've heard in some of the wānanga that I've been a part of. He whakatau aki nā te wharehuia mūroi, kia taipari whakapiki waka te whakaaro. To be the tide that raises ships. And I think it's a reminder for us to always kind of come back to being a space of elevating, to elevate whānau health, to elevate well-being within our spaces, to bring our whānau back into a regenerative approach rather than holding themselves in a state of dependency. So finding ways to really elevate our waka, our whānau. I'll keep it to those two.
Mō te kaupapa, mō tātou whānau, and mō te oranga tonutanga o te tangata. So for the cause, for our family, and for the benefit and the well-being of our people.